I'm Martin Luther with a dream, the John Lennon of the streets. I'm MJ with the N1, I feel like Malcolm with the M1. I'm at the window when you haters, don't make me jump out the window when you haters. Locked and loaded, I feel like I'm loaded, let's beloved. Hold up, roll with the punches, yeah, I'm gonna play the hand that I was dealt. Number one focus is to remain focused, can't worry about shit I can't change like a well. Hold up, I know what it's like to fail. Hold up, I already been through hell. Yeah, I was built for all this shit that I've been through, I'm going through and what I will. I've been broke, almost died, but I'm still up on my grind. I've been down and out of luck, ain't nowhere to go but up.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, misery bots of all ages, back again with another video, a new video in a hot minute. I know it's been a while, I'm sorry about that. Your boy's just been busy, man. I've been busy. It's life, you know what I mean? It's tough being grown, tough being old, you know what I mean? Tough being old, tough being grown. Your man's just been busy. But I'm back again with another video. This one's going to be a Mortal Kombat video. The next couple are actually going to be Mortal Kombat videos. I might sneak a Street Fighter 6 video up in there. You know, maybe play some Anon or Modern Geef in this bitch. Know what I mean? But before we get to that, you know, we gotta get it in with some of these Mortal Kombat videos, because a lot of Mortal Kombat content came out lately. I've just been far too busy to cover it. I'm talking about working 12-hour days, 7 days a week kind of situation. But, you know, I got a little bit of time. I got a good hour or so to spare right now. So we're going to get into the Kombat Kast joint right now. We're going to get into that. But before I do, if you like that intro music, definitely check out the descriptions below for that Adrian Rockstar SoundCloud. If you want to hear more music like that, more good quality music, you feel me? Check out that SoundCloud. Now, we're going to get into this. This is the second Kombat Kast where they covered Smoke, Ashrah, and Geras. By the way, all three of them looking fire. So I'm going to go through them, kind of break it down as best as I can, you know, as quick as I can. And we're going to get up out of here. It's only going to be maybe an hour long, shorter stream or whatever, but it is what it is. It's something, you know what I mean? I know I've been neglecting y'all. But we here. We dishing out that content. So, let's lower this. I know the first part of this was a lot of like filler and stuff like that. But they had like the intro for the Smoke and all that. They had the DLC joints, which we already seen all this. They start talking about some nonsense, wasting a lot of time. They talk about the forest.
These are pretty fleshed out concepts, and full credit goes.
By the way, for those who don't know this, these are the character models for Mk1. This is Sub-Zero and Scorpion from Mk1, and they have them standing in the background for Mk1. So just in case nobody noticed that. Them again. Same background, they just pulled it back. They're just kind of showing like the living forest, basically. Show the trailer again. They're really promoting those DLC characters, man. They really promoting them. They're like, yo, fam, we spent mad money on Omni-Man and Homelander. We need some bread back for this, because like Peacekeeper is already owned by WB, so they don't really need to pay anything. They probably, if anything, they paid for maybe John Cena's likeness, but with Peacekeeper, they didn't really have to pay that much for that character, because, you know, WB owns it. They don't own Invincible or The Boys, so that's something that's like that's not owned by WB, so they had to probably spend a lot of money on them. So, but here we are, we're getting into that Smoke action, and look, we're already damn near halfway through the video before they even start talking about characters. It's giving us a lot of information. So,
just from Indonesia, I believe. And he uses it in most of his normal attacks. You see he has this slicey.
So, don't know if you noticed, he uses a knife. He seems to be more of a close range character, similar to like how Rain was a close range character, except for Rain didn't have like that blade that he has. Rain had more of like a gauntlet kind of knife sticking out of his hand or whatever, whereas Smoke has like these little blades, which is pretty cool, really fitting for somebody who's a ninja assassin.
Dice.
Slicey dice, yep. He's just cutting you up.
Now, Smoke definitely looks like he's going to be really quick. They also advanced the movement too. I'm not sure if you heard them mention that, but they advanced the movement, they improved the movement. So it looks like they said it's more akin to that of like Mk1. We'll see. We'll see. I think it's probably a little closer to maybe Mk1, but we'll see. We'll see. Smoke is the new 50-50 character. So for those people who hated Sub-Zero and Mk1, in Mk1, you're going to have Smoke now. You're going to have Smoke to worry about. And Smoke looked like he might even be worse than Sub-Zero, bro. Like, for real, for real. Like, they OD'd with his mix-up options.
Low slice.
There goes your Achilles.
Uses it in his uppercut. Jabs. And
That's an
throw.
overhead. That teleports an overhead.
Oh, right under the mouth. That's the worst. Yeah.
Another noteworthy thing about his normal attacks is he has a really good long distance overhead, which is back to.
Did you just hear what did you just hear what he just said? And what they just showed? A long distance overhead. And all you have to do is press back to do it.
Yep.
For those who was terrified of Sub-Zero's forward 2, Smoke's back 2 sounds worse. Sounds even worse. I will say it looks like it might be slower than Sub-Zero's forward 2. It looks like it might be slower, but we'll see. We'll see if we can react to it, because like you couldn't really react to that Sub-Zero overhead.
Yep, that definitely that covers some space. Yeah, that's for dang sure.
Dude,
and that's gonna put him right where he wants to be, up close, right?
Exactly. And it is complemented by.
I mean, you do have the indicator of the smoke.
That could be a combo starter.
But because he has low overhead mix-up,
instantly
see,
the low high,
that something like that can happen.
Mix-up.
So just now he just teleported, did a poof of smoke, and then went into a low. If you're looking for that poof of smoke in order to react to the overhead, that might mix you up. So you woof. It's gonna be scary.
Exactly.
The blender.
The blender.
Yes. Yeah, I think he's going to be an awesome mix-up character. So let's go over his special moves. You can kind of see how he plays up close. So how is he going to get that 50-50 going?
Yeah.
So the first thing we'll talk about is his anti-air options. One of his brand new special moves is this anti-air knife toss. Jump.
Oh, nailed it.
And pull you in.
That looks cool, and he gets Oki off of that as well too. So that looks cool. I want to know how that's gonna work if they're jumping from a little closer distance. So for example, that's more of an ideal situation. But what if they're like point blank and they jump? Like if they like neutral jump from point blank, will that whiff? Because I know like I want to say Frost had something like that. Where she had her head, it was like her down back 3, and her head would shoot out or whatever, and they shoot out in a angle similar to that. But if they were like jumping over me, it would whiff. And sometimes if they just like neutral jump, like they would whiff. Especially like people like Cabal or Jackie, who had like those bionic bounces and you know, double jumps in the air and stuff like that. Like I would whiff on them all the time. Katana too, if she did that little flutter joint, I would whiff on them just from them doing a neutral jump on me from point blank, even though I'm trying to do like an anti-air. So I wonder if it's gonna have that same situation. Like granted, most people aren't gonna jump from this far away, but I mean, if they're in a situation where they are going to jump and you do that, yeah, that's ideal. But a lot of times people will jump while directly in your face. So I want to know if it's a good anti-air in that situation.
Jump again.
But I do like that it gives you Oki.
And if you EX it, he pulls you right up with a bunch of recovery.
So the EX just gives you more Oki. It looks like it does slightly more damage too, but it looks like it just gives you better Oki.
And then you can actually go into your mix-ups.
Right. So he has his own kind of get over here, if you will.
Exactly.
He's patrolling the skies.
Yeah. So he.
I mean, the thing is, because of the cameo system, like, I'm not sure. Can you call a cameo while you're laid out on the floor like that? Like on Wake Up, can you call a cameo on Wake Up?
Also has a new take on the classic smoke bomb. He throws the smoke bomb into the air and then will drop down.
I would say that is cool.
This will track the opponent. So up close, it'll be real quick.
And it tracks.
And even full
That's
screen.
actually really cool.
You'll always go behind them, and it's an overhead.
Oh, jeez. Okay. So
Now,
constantly closing.
I wonder how punishable that is on
So
block.
if you read a
That has to be
projectile,
crazy
you can
punishable
use
on
crouch
block.
blocking because of the low, you can go for that. And the EX version has an extra special property. Instead of dropping down and doing that attack, he'll just drop down and he'll be invisible.
Because that's what you want, is to deal with somebody with...
So he does that. You're expecting the overhead so you can then punish, but then he goes invisible and hits you with a low or grab. That's type scary. That's type scary. Because like they can do that. You can be expecting the overhead, but if they enhanced it, I mean, now you might eat a overhead, you might eat a low, you might eat a grab. Like, you feel me? So that is kind of scary. It looks like he lights up before he throws it. So if you notice that he enhanced it, maybe you can do something about it. Maybe you can jump away from it or something. But we'll see how it plays.
Overheads and lows and invisible.
Plays out.
Right.
Yeah,
so
sounds like great.
If you were thinking, I don't know, that back to, I bet I could react to that.
Right.
How do you react to an overhead that you literally
Can't
cannot see?
You start spamming stuff.
Yo,
Exactly.
you are
Low post,
really
low post.
invisible too.
So another special move is the classic teleport. This time it starts as a low, then goes into the teleport.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So if you EX it, you get a combo
And you can
starter.
combo
And that
from
punch
it.
is very...
That reminds me a lot of like
throwbacky to,
Takeda's
Exactly.
teleport.
It's like a
Robot.
new take on Robot Smoke.
Love it. I
Yeah,
love
that
it.
reminds
You
me of
also
like
can cancel
Takeda's
this
teleport and MKX.
Oh, okay. Something I will never do. Nope. I commit, okay, at all
You
times.
do.
And there's a fun property. If
Oh.
you EX cancel it, he turns invisible.
Oh, it just
Okay,
goes
so you can
invisible.
go invisible in other ways.
I tried to find
So you have Smoke and Reptile who are able to go invisible.
And lastly, he has a new take on his phase teleport move. He will phase through, go full screen
Wait.
no matter where you are.
Oh,
Go
that's so much
and this
faster.
can be used not just to close the gap and check the opponent, but it can go under fireballs. So, please fireball.
Let's see if you can do it. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
first
that's
time
really
landing.
fast.
Wow.
That's what's
Yeah.
up. I like that.
And this can also be canceled.
I was just going to ask.
He's always
So
had
instead
like
of,
something
make it
like
harder
that
than a
where he can
projectile,
smoke
it
through
has a lot of
projectiles and
recovery,
stuff
you
like
can
that.
actually Stop right in front of him and get
But
a
I don't
hot
think it was
punch.
ever that
Bids.
quick.
Going to
Or-
the business.
Ever that
Exactly.
useful. Most
If they're
people
blocking,
didn't use it
you
very
can go ahead,
often.
Stop in front of him.
Other than for like style
Quickly
points or whatever.
jump
But
over,
no, that
throw,
definitely looks far more useful.
whatever you want.
Cool. Did you do his throw yet?
I did.
Oh, okay.
How?
Oh, yeah, under the mouth. Didn't want to see it again. Just kidding.
When you're playing Smoke, what kind of what are you looking for in a cameo?
Great question, and I'm always a big fan of pointing out that you could show up on your weaknesses. Like, you'll notice he doesn't have a traditional projectile.
Correct.
So you could give him someone like
Yeah, he
Sonya
doesn't
who has
have
ring
any
toss.
projectile really.
Or you can double down on what you have and maybe get even bigger combos. Or maybe you can use someone who has new combo starters and mix-ups options. But what I picked here is Cameo Sub-Zero, who makes counter zoning even better because he has a really nifty, tricky move where he coats you in ice armor and you become projectile immune.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
really
So, let's wait for it to
freaking cool.
refresh.
I will admit that. Like Sub-Zero giving you that armor, that's almost like Icebreaker Sub-Zero in Mortal Kombat X, I want to say. Where like Icebreaker Sub-Zero used to be able to coat himself in like ice armor and give himself like 1 or 2 hits or something like that. That's kind of like that, except this, I believe this is only vulnerable to fireball attacks, to projectiles. Meaning you can still hit them with your regular fists and regular attacks and stuff like that. You just can't hit them with projectile moves.
Fireball me.
Fireball
That's
me.
super dope,
He is
bro.
literally just absorbing fireballs and,
And
can walk
That's
you
super
down.
And he's taking no damage from that?
Correct.
What?
He could also turn invisible and have it on.
But now,
Oh.
but I want to spam it out now.
Yeah.
That
so,
would great.
point
That'd
out
be
earlier,
great
one
for
of the best
people who
things
want to
to do when he's
zone
invisible
the
is to
shit
start
out of you.
spamming projectiles.
Right.
You can
Like,
hit
that'd be
stray
great
while he's
for
trying
that.
to move around. He can literally use Sub-Zero. become
Basically,
projectile
you can pick
immune, be
Sub-Zero
invisible,
and then you'll be
teleport
like
behind you,
Jade
and then
in
start
every
doing
match.
50-50.
That's very sneaky.
He is sneaky.
That's
I
very
think,
sneaky. Sneaky
So
ninja.
for people
one
who
of the-
don't like to
that's a
deal with
great
people who
keyword,
zone a lot,
ninja,
like that
'cause
would
I don't
be
think
perfect
Smoke's
for y'all.
ever been this much of a ninja.
Now it looks like it just covers his top
Oh, yeah,
part.
no,
How does
I'm
it
loving
do
it. I
against
think it's
low
very cool.
fireballs, low
You know me, I'm
projectiles?
one of
That's
those
what I'm curious
in-your-face
about.
kind of players.
You
Like,
do like rushing down.
nothing but risk.
I think I had to remind you of the block button once.
Yeah, probably.
Like, I wonder
And yeah,
how
he
that does
definitely
against
feels like he's
the
going to be high risk, but really, really flashy.
against the like
very, very quick.
And that's when you talk about like how you wanna
the close
deal
like
with
the low
Smoke
projectiles
as an
and stuff
opponent.
like that.
Risk.
Right. Yeah, I think you're going to have kind of 2 strategies. One would be accept that he's going to counter zone you. Your fireballs are not going to be super efficient. Just play the game, patient, bait him out, punish him. Or the rush down guy, and like someone like Liu Kang who might have faster normals up close, be able to poke him out, go for your own mix-ups, that kind of stuff.
Cool. Cool.
But he is definitely gonna bait mistakes, punish people that are, you know, getting too big for their britches, and then go for big combos and all that. And I think he's gonna be really exciting to watch.
Yeah, he seems like he's gonna be a rush down mix-up monster.
No, I think we should show you the fatal blow.
Let's do it.
So this also goes.
That
with
kick
this
is the same
it'll
kick
trap you
that
in memory,
Frost
very long
has
screen, and it's
in
an
Mortal Kombat
overlap.
11.
So check out
That
this.
like little double
All
kick.
right.
It's her standing 3.
Right.
We don't need to see all this. Ashrah. Now, Ashrah is somebody that's really interesting. I never cared about Ashrah, I'm not gonna lie. Even in the 3D, I never played her in the 3D. She just kind of looked like a woman Raiden in the 3D era of Mortal Kombat with like a cool fucking sword or whatever. But never cared about her. I have to admit,
Check her
this
out.
gameplay she
Alright.
has right now looks like my style. Kind of looks similar to like my style with like Vega and Frost. So definitely interested in Ashrah.
So Ashrah is a demon who has found an artifact, the Chris. It's a mystical sword. And when she slays demons with it, it purifies her soul. So she fights with the Chris all the time. And you could imagine that gives her exceptionally good range.
How many
Yeah, I
bad
mean,
things do you think she's done?
She
that
definitely
she's
has like
constantly
really
having
good
to
range, which reminds me of Frost from Mk1, so I'm definitely liking
purify her
that.
soul?
She is literally a
lot.
demon from the nether realm, so I think she's been a bad girl.
All right.
She's been through it.
All right. She's
Yeah, so-
done a few bad things.
You can see almost all of her normal attacks use her weapon. Like, she's got a super good uppercut.
Which is going to give her good range.
That's
Yeah,
her
it's
uppercut?
really
That
sweet.
uppercut actually looks
Uses
good.
the sword.
That low looks
Little bop
solid.
there.
I mean,
That's
good
a
range.
professional
She looks
Yeah,
like
we
somebody
all
who'll
know.
be able to control the neutral, which is something I like to do. So she definitely looks like somebody who can like play really good neutral, not control neutral, but play really good neutral. And I like characters that can play really good neutrals. Hence the reason I like people like Frost so much. Why I like Vega and Street Fighter. These are characters that can kind of control neutral very well. People like Manon and even Chun-Li in Street Fighter 6. Those are people who can control neutral very well or play neutral very well.
So that's the bop.
I've played against Dan in Cinematics plays a lot of Ashrah, and the range she keeps you at is one of those sort of frustrating ranges.
Right. Let's go over her.
That's what I like to hear. One of those frustrating
slash.
ranges.
The slashy slash. We got a bop. We got a slashy slash.
Let's go, Frost!
Ooh.
Speak of the
Little
devil,
Frost throw.
man. You know that's gonna be my cameo character, bro. You know Frost and Zub is gonna be my
So
cameo
the first
character,
thing she
bro.
has is projectile,
Mm-hmm.
which is not a typical fast.
That
tiny
projectile slow as hell, dog. Like,
Stay
who
on
the
screen.
fuck are you hitting with that?
Not go full screen.
Like, that joint's
It's not the
slow, and
fastest
it's
in
not
the
full
world,
screen
but it
either.
reaches almost to the top of the screen.
So you're not jumping it.
Exactly.
Right.
I guarantee there's gonna be characters that can jump over that shit.
Good one,
She also
Tyler.
Or just
has
characters that can
crisscross,
teleport it. Like, that joint's so
sword slash,
slow, you can teleport on
excellent
reaction.
Combo ender. And control kind of the ground and the air. And what's one of the ways you beat like long range footsie tools?
You beat?
Beat it, yeah, by jumping. So you could say crisscross makes you
Jump, jump.
You really set
Oh, is
these
that
up.
Tanya in the
Yeah,
back?
yeah,
I
yeah.
just noticed there's Tanya chilling in the background.
Look, I don't understand why people
Tanya
say this is cringe.
looking all
I don't
fine.
No, not at all.
It's my least favorite term on the internet, by the way.
So, did any of the attacks you were just showing have EX versions?
What the hell kind of
in fact,
knockdown
I'll
was
show it
that?
right now. The sword uppercut, which when you EX it, allows her to combo.
Awesome. But the
Okay.
projectile and the
You gotta enhance
crissy-crossity.
it.
They just do more damage.
Oh, okay, cool.
And I think crisscross has a pop-up.
Okay, cool.
Ooh, it pops
So
up.
thanks for reminding
If
me.
depending
Yeah,
on your
team
cameo,
them
you
up.
can get some
And
damage out of that.
lastly, we have the ghost dash.
That looks
So
dope.
this is
I
a cool
like
move
that.
where she
I like that.
sends a
That's
ghost,
very similar to
travels
Sindel's
as far as she
Banshee.
wants, and she can
Very
cancel
similar
it.
to that.
Nope.
And she can also do this quicker version that goes behind you.
Yeah, I
follow
like
it.
that. I definitely need to try out
So,
Ashrah when
for
Mortal
the most
Kombat 1
part,
comes
she's
out.
got a bunch of
Definitely
range
need to try out
attacks.
this character.
And she can get distance with her sword attacks. So she really kind of plays that mid to far game. And if you try jumping in at her, she has that special move that just is a rising sword attack.
That little
that's
like
just then
cross
gonna
up
allow her to
slash
extend
joint
air
reminds
combos.
me a lot of like
Nailed it.
Jury from
But
Street
there's
Fighter
one really cool
6, I want to
mechanic
say.
involved in all this that makes
Her V skill in Street
just
Fighter
an
6,
added layer
5.
to make
Her
her
V
a
skill in
little
Street
bit
Fighter
more
5.
Tell us
That's
about
what
that layer.
reminds
Let's
me of.
peel that onion.
tap into her dark side, and this changes the properties on most of her special.
Okay.
Her fireball becomes a ground spark. It can reach full screen.
Oh,
It's a
jeez.
Short, medium, and far version.
Okay. And so that you have to choose which version, right?
Exactly.
Stance,
Pretty quick.
which is fine. I mean, I played Chun-Li in Street Fighter, and she's a stance character.
I gotta turn it back on.
All right, gotta turn on the darkness.
Oh, it looks like it wears off.
Her shadow charge completely changes, and now it actually teleports her to the location,
Okay.
and she can again cancel it,
I'm about to say, that looks exactly...
Okay. Okay.
or actually go directly to where the ghost is, and she can use that to go behind.
How is
you,
that different from the
cancel
light?
it, and she
Like,
can
I'm
still do the
confused.
twitch attack.
Okay.
It looks exactly
Now,
how
one
it
thing you
was
might
with the light
notice
side.
is when she's doing these moves, the opponent is getting dark side attached to them. which
Yeah,
can stack
those little
up-
swirly things around there, right?
Exactly, which can stack up to 3 times. Once she turns back to light, all of her light attacks will then do an extra hit of damage,
Okay.
depending on how many stacks she has.
Very cool.
Okay. So it's like a
Now,
buff.
some of the ghost slashes.
It looks
can
like
you
it
do any of
activates
those in the
really
air,
fast,
anything like
too.
that? Yeah.
She can do all the ghost flashes in the air and drop down.
Oh,
She
jeez.
can
that's
do
just
attacks,
like-
she can
like
combos
Sindel.
with it.
What can't she do?
Pretty much
I don't think she has a command grab.
she does not have a command
Okay.
grab.
So, and
Or a pure soul.
So playing as her, your goal is really you're switching back and forth and back and
Exactly.
forth to get
Yes.
as much damage as you can.
Yes, you're going to be wanting to switch it back and forth depending on the range you're at, what the opponent's tools are. And,
You can really
know.
min
And
max
you're
your damage.
and you're locking them down
Exactly.
with distance anyway, too.
So, let's talk
I like
about
her.
cameos.
I'm not gonna lie. I
Don't
am
be saying,
very interested in
"Nah,
playing
I'm
her.
supposed to be
First
switching
time
between
I
people
can
and
say this is
Right.
the hypest I've ever been for Ashrah. Never cared about this character at all.
Well, let's cover a couple.
Never cared about this character at all. I like when fighting games do this. I like when they take a character that was in a previous game that nobody gave a shit about, because nobody gave a shit about Ashrah, and she was always cool and interesting, but nobody cared about her. Like nobody played Ashrah in Deception. Come on. I like when they take a character like that and they make them relevant. They make them interesting. You feel me? I feel like they kind of did that with Frost and Mk1 as well. Frost's most biggest claim to fame is her being like a female Sub-Zero, basically. That was her claim to fame in Deadly Alliance, I think it was. Deadly Alliance and even Armageddon. But outside of that, nobody really cared about Frost until Mk1. And as you can see, I main her. And yeah, Frost was awesome. Like she wasn't trash. She wasn't top tier. She was middle of the road, but she was, in my opinion, very fun to play. One of those characters that, depending on the variation you had with Frost, could change up the way she played drastically. So yeah, I think they did the same thing with Ashrah. So that's really cool, really dope. I like that.
Of Frost moves. One is the ground ice, straight from Deadly Alliance. Super fast, low combo.
Oh yeah, so she is from Deadly Alliance because they just mentioned Deadly Alliance.
And it seems to cover like a majority of the screen.
Exactly. This is
That's kind of fast and it goes full screen. That's dope. I think it's a summoning though, because I don't think Ashrah can move.
going to be a big time movement check when you're fighting Frost. You could let it rip at any time.
You can use that as a counter projectile as well too. So if they throw out projectile and you throw out that Frost joint, yeah, you might catch the hit, but then they're frozen.
It's going to be super dangerous.
Yeah,
That's
it
when
look
she
like a
can turn
summon.
on her toes.
And then boom, you've hit it. Swap.
Exactly. She also has Orby Orb,
Orby Orb.
where she sends a frozen orb out. A slow moving orb that'll freeze the opponent if it hits them.
And you got to respect that. That's basically it.
Exactly.
That's
A
good for
perfect
screen
time
control.
to switch
That's
your
going to be good
stance
for screen
to get
control.
things going.
Cool.
And then
Especially with a
lastly,
character that's already good with footsies.
she
Though it looks
has
like they're going to be good with
the
footsies.
black type move that's a super quick combo ender. Or if she holds it, she gets a secret special fourth move
What?
where she does
Let's
the
go!
and if you block, you can see this has
That's
can
a
you,
summon, though.
Luck.
pick up the controller and block.
I guess you can probably use it as an ender.
This
good
will actually
chip
push you
damage.
full screen and do chip,
Yeah.
and that can get you back in range to be going for your.
And that's a
switching
low
attack.
too that you're doing there.
Yes.
Yeah. So
And now the meter burner hold down stabby stab. Did that cost any additional meter or anything like
I
that?
believe it's still the same as regular.
Okay.
I believe. I do not have the.
Like
full-
ashrah looks
Okay.
really
Also
dope
to
with that
mention,
white
you
and
know,
gold
still
she
getting
has
progress,
on.
things
Yeah.
are still
She
being
looks like a
tweaked and
really
balanced and
cool
whatnot.
character.
Totally.
She really does.
Damage wise and that sort of thing may change,
Yeah.
obviously. So,
So-
just
Oh,
keep
there's
that in
there's a
mind.
very good chance.
Yes.
There's a very good chance.
We'll
they
all
will.
remember the combo I did back in
Oh, here he
11
goes.
that just didn't work later.
No.
And
Oh,
I
the
still
Dundee.
The Dundee. Yeah.
Dundee, and I still hear about it to this day.
So let's check out our fatal blow.
I like the angel wings. I like the
think
angel
those
wings a
wings
lot. Frost still looks
so
badass, bro. I don't think they're gonna put her in this game as a playable character,
Auto
but
gas.
she looks cool as hell.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, this fatal blow does look really cool.
And
I
that
didn't
is
want to watch
ashrah
it though,
is
but
You know, whatever. Wrong. It's
I'm very. You can do moves, so you can do. Let's
Geras, I'm not gonna lie, they spent a
Uh-huh.
lot of time on Geras. This joint is at 47. I think they spent like a good 12 minutes on this character. Like they broke down Geras. They gave Geras a lot, bro. Geras.
I am gonna go with.
Like watching Geras gameplay in this joint made me want to play MK11 and play some Geras, bro. Like for real. He looks good. He looks really freaking good in this game. It looks like he might actually be a little too complex for me to play because I'm very simple, and that's one of the more appealing things about ashrah. She looks fairly simple as well. Geras looks very complex to play.
I went with Goro, mainly because I love Goro, and also he does help with my game plan a lot, and we'll go
Right.
through that in a little bit.
and you like a team of bigs.
I do. So just real quick, Goro has a couple moves. He has punch in the air, right? So you can do that.
Punch,
To,
yep.
You can do that to sort of elongate combos sometimes, things like that.
Yes.
He also has stomp.
You can't have Gora without Stomp.
Now listen, stomp is different.
Oh.
Stomp takes your entire bar.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, it is.
That's how they
full.
balance
See?
it.
So I know people will be like stomp. You have to commit to it.
I mean, is Stomp
And then
invincible?
finally,
I mean,
there's a thing called the
unblockable?
omelet toss, which
That
is-
makes sense if Stomp is unblockable. But hopefully, because we can't just have a situation where it's an automatic guaranteed win when Stomp comes out either. It needs to be able to be dodged as well. Kind of like what they eventually did with Shiva and MK11. Shiva's Stomp in MK11 was so broken that you could not dodge it. Like you could just not dodge it. It was so difficult to dodge. And eventually they were able to nerf it in a way where it became a lot easier to dodge. So hopefully that's a situation where it's similar to Shiva's Stomp now in MK11 as opposed to what Shiva Stomp was when Shiva first came to MK11. Hopefully that's the case where it's like the nerf Shiva Stomp version of Stomp, because like if you can't dodge that shit, that's just gonna be a guarantee, and it's an unblockable. That's just a guaranteed win every time. That's gonna be terrible. Even if it causes all the meter, like that's gonna be terrible.
I just hit the wrong button.
No, that's punch walk.
Punch walk again.
That's punch walk.
He has omelet toss where he will throw you up in the air.
That's actually really cool because you can combo
so
from
that's,
it.
That can
So
be
that's
grabbed,
actually
like,
really
if you're
cool.
ducking, for instance. That can be it can be used to
Omelet toss.
Don't do that.
And it's a mid command grab too.
So that's what I use. Now I want to go through some of the strings, and this will all kind of make sense a little bit how he works. Probably my favorite string he has is forward 4-4, which is just hits the ground, pops you up. It's a low.
Do you make a little sandcastle there?
He
What
makes a
happened
little
there?
sand
those are
here,
lows,
so
okay.
knocks you up. So for this, then you can.
And it
start
puts
doing
you in
your
a
air
juggle
stuff.
state,
Let's go over
too.
the air stuff real quick. He has 4 unique grabs he can do in the air based off his air combos. So he has this, where he'll give you the old pile driver.
Pile
Yep.
drive.
Nice.
Yep, which you are a fan of.
I am.
And you can see that
Choke slam.
Choke slam.
which sides of the opponents
Yes,
on
you can
that.
choose what side to switch. And then you can do this with different inputs. Oh, I did it wrong, sorry.
Okay. Let's see what he was going.
And when you say with different inputs, what do you?
Different punches
Another
in the
pile
air.
driver.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Lead
Gotcha.
to different things. So one is 1-2, the other is 2-1.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
And then he's got this one where he'll just. Oh, I did that wrong.
It's really neat to see the air combat.
He's doing choke slam and pile driver though.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
that
pretty
was a
much,
different guy
they knew
right
you
there.
away.
Like he kneed
Yeah.
you in the
Air
face.
combat, just a huge fan. I just
It's
love.
so
I'm
fun.
so in love with it.
He also has this overhead, which is.
Ooh.
So it's not.
What?
It's not safe entirely. But
That
it's-
looks
You can throw this out there.
like
quite
it
a
might
bit.
be
You
safe,
get a
bro, like
big amount
the-
of pushback.
I mean,
Right.
at least on hit, the pushback is so
you've got
far.
back
Like
one,
he
too,
hits
which
you
is
damn
neat,
near
because
the
it's
entire
just-
screen.
this is that
I want to
range
know what that block
where you-
is,
like,
like
you don't
what it
wanna
looks
be
like
here.
on block. Because even Geras looks like
and that can be
he
canceled too, so you can do like,
he comes up further back.
like
Give me one
Oh, you
moment.
brought.
Give me one moment, everybody. Like and subscribe, but give me one moment.
Motivated,